So in this video I'm just going to show you how to sew on the stitching for your cricket ball. So you can do it a little bit with a bit more embellishment, but this time around I'm just going to do a very simple stitching just along the center stitches there. So you'd want to be bringing your yarn along these lines here because it just makes it a lot easier instead of going along that way. So my advice would be is if you're starting from the beginning, start from about, let's see, I'll point it out with the needle. So I would say do your stitching along that line and your stitching along that one, and then it gives a nice space in between the two stitches, which is what I've done here. So how do I do the stitches? So I've found, let me just get my yarn ready. So I've found that this is the technique that gives the best look for me, but again, you can do your stitches longer, you can make them even smaller, it's up to you. So I'm just going to start by putting my needle in under this one, and then I bring it up, and I'm going to bring it up underneath here, but not that one. I'm actually going to count, so that's the kind of the bar underneath the stitch, you see there, focus. So I'm going to bring it up the third one from where the yarn is coming out of. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to bring my yarn up, and then I'm going to put my needle in under the second bar. So if I bring it as close as possible, so I'm going to bring it in under here. So there's actually 2 bars underneath, if you see. So I'm going to bring my needle in under there, and then again I'm going to bring my thread up under the third bar. So 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to pull it. So as you can see, it's in line with the other one, and then again bring it underneath the 2 bars below, and then bring it up underneath again. So you've got 1 there, 2, so that's 3 there. So that's the distance that I like the spaces of the stitches to be. So you want it underneath there, and then let's see, 1, 2, 3, yep, there we go. So just go around the ball like so, and going around where the increases are like this. So you've got the increases going out that way. It just gives you a real guideline to where to put your stitches, which is fabulous. So I'll just do that, and then bring that under here. Around these bits, it's not as simple as the method that I've just shown you, but you just need to go with it. So I'll just bring my needle up, which would be alongside here, I think. Will look good. And then bring your yarn in under and up in underneath one of these threads. And then what I normally do is I'll put my needle in underneath a few times and then cut it once I feel like it is secure. So I'm just going to bring it up back. So I put it kind of back on itself a few times, and then it feels secure enough. So I'm actually pretty happy with how secure that is now, so I will just put it in back on that stitch. I'm going to just stick it in here. I'm going to pull it short, and then, oh, if I can get it, and then cut it, and then pull the needle through, and then hopefully, oh, it's gone a bit wobbly, I can get the needle out. Oh, see, Ooh, okay, it did work. So a little tiny bit is coming out there, but just give it a squeeze and it'll go in, and then that is pretty darn secure. So there you go. I hope you found that helpful, and I can't wait to see your Cricut balls. I'm going to show you how to do the stitching along your Cricut ball. So you could just leave it with that stitching if you don't want to do the extra stitching. But if you want a more authentic looking Cricut ball, then you have to do this extra one. So I tend to do it about 2 columns across, so 2 stitches across, so the equivalent of that space. So 2 across, and then you do them quite close together. And the way that I do it, I don't do them completely side by side. I do them ever so slightly off center because that's a more authentic look. So what I'm going to do is just show you how I do it, if I can get the needle up at the point that I want it to come up at. So I am bringing my needle in underneath, and I want it to come up here. And then I'm just going to pull that thread through, and then I'm just going to, instead of bringing it straight down like that, I want to bring it just to one side of this stitch. So I'm going to bring it just about there, and then again bring it up close, pull through, and put it into one side, and then bring the needle up about there, pull through, and again down and up. So depending on what look you want to go for, you can do kind of big stitches like that. I quite like this one. Or you can do them ever so slightly smaller. So I'm just going to finish this. And then to finish it off, I'm actually, I'm just going to put that in underneath again, like that. And then I'll put the thread back over again, and this one here is a bit small somehow. So I'm just going to go over it again. So try and bring it up underneath. So it turned out a little smaller than I was hoping it to be. So I'll probably just extend that ever so slightly. I'm going to bring the thread up under there, see how it looks. Looks a bit bigger, a little bit better. So then I'll just secure the end and then sew it in. So that's how you finish your Cricut ball.